My 5 minutes talk today, I'll be talking about, just taking off from where we stopped yesterday about the rise of the Ummah. And I want to talk about 4 things that are very important for this Ummah to establish in order to become as strong as it once was. Because for us to gain strength today, we must go back in history to what gave the Ummah that came before the strength that made them leaders, that made them to walk the surface of the earth, that from amongst them there were those that it was said about them, أَفْضَلُ الْمَشَى عَلَى الْأَرْضِ بَعْدَ الْأَنْبِيَاءِ. The best who walked the surface of the earth after the prophets were the companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. 4 very important things, and I want everyone to take note of this. And if you can, record it with your phone, write it down, whatever it is, remember everything I will say tonight, inshallah. And I will take this from the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from his hijrah from Mecca to Medina. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as we all remember, performed hijrah. He got to Medina. What was the first thing he did when he arrived Medina? What was the first thing? He established a masjid, right? Why did he establish the masjid? Because it would be a center for growing the ummah spiritually, growing them in terms of knowledge, but also giving out commands, also directing the affairs of the new state that was going to be established. That masjid was an infrastructure that brought about education for the ummah. So it tells us that an important thing that we must invest in is infrastructure. Infrastructure could be this building, could be this masjid that we're trying to expand. It could be the roads, it could be schools, it could be railways. Any of these are infrastructure, because the more you invest in infrastructure, the more you make life easy for the people and the more you benefit them through that infrastructure. So the first thing as an ummah, for us to be strong, we have to invest in infrastructure, but not just any kind of infrastructure, the right infrastructure to build the ummah. What was the second thing he did after establishing the masjid? What was the second? He built the souq, the market. The market was next to the masjid. Why was the market established? Because he understood that as Muslims, economy or the economic power of the Muslim Ummah is where they have their greatest strength. When Allah talks about doing jihad fi sabilillah, He says what? بِأَمْوَالِكُمْ وَأَنفُسِكُمْ. Strive with your wealth and with yourselves. So economic power is very important. As Muslims, you can't play with it. And you have to know how to earn wealth and how to expend that wealth. So going out to seek for halal means extremely important. But more than that, establishing an economy based on ethical finance, this is extremely important for the ummah as well. That's why the likes of the Jaiz Bank, the Taj Bank, Lotus, and many of these other non-interest financial institutions, they came late in our part of the world. But today, look at the benefit that they have done in establishing Islamic finance directly and indirectly in this nation. The third most important thing, agriculture. You have to feed the people. Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu used to say, Al-faqr yahdi ila al-kufr. Poverty leads to disbelief. A man who is hungry, you cannot tell them, Qala Allah, Qala Rasul. They will not listen to you. But if you feed them, if you give them food, then you have given them strength. Because of that, they will not go astray. The fourth is the human capital. The Prophet ﷺ built the ummah by building his companions. He built human capital. Because of that, they were innovative. Because of that, you had companions at that time who were very wealthy. They were industrious, they were investors, but then they were wealthier more in the akhirah. Today, if we must build this ummah, we must know that the best form of strength we have is our people. It's the Muslims, it's our brothers and sisters. We must support each other, empower each other, educate each other. Because when you have that, you will be innovative. Innovation is what will drive the next generation. When I say innovation here, I don't mean the bid'ah diniya. Before you say I'm pushing for bid'ah. La. There is bid'ah to dunyawi and bid'ah to dini. In deen, haram. We cannot introduce bid'ah. But when it comes to the worldly aspect, we must be innovative as an ummah. I'll give you a very typical example. Everyone I see today is holding a smartphone. Either it's a Samsung, it's an iPhone. This brother is even using the iPhone to come very close, hacker, right? You are using a smartphone. But I want to say, for an example, the smartphones you have, Apple. All of us know the founder of Apple, yes? His name is Steve Jobs. Apple today is the first trillion-dollar company in the world. First trillion-dollar, not billion. Yani trillion, bita, trillion-dollar. But how many of you know that the founder of Apple, Steve Jobs, was given, or his father was a Muslim man from Syria by the name Abdul Fattah Jandali? How many of you know this? The founder of Apple, the biggest company in the world, his father was a Muslim from Syria. He was born and adopted by another family. What did the family that adopted him do? They were non-Muslims, so they gave him the name Steve and they gave him Jobs. Maybe his name would have been Abubakar Muhammad, wallahu alam. Right? Or Abubakar ibn Abdul Fattah. Or Yusuf. Khalas, wallahu alam. But he was given this name. But importantly, there was something else, more important than the name that was given to him. It was education and an opportunity to be innovative. As an ummah, we cannot throw away the younger generation. They are the innovative ones. They are the ones that will grow this ummah. If you think all of us will remain here for long, some of us are already sitting down on chairs, but they are still very young, inshallah. We will not remain here. We must grow the ummah to come. So these four things are things that the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam did. There are many more. 5 minutes is not enough for me to expatiate. And I know I've eaten, I have 7 minutes now, so I will stop here. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.